Welcome to Breaking the Drama Triangle, which is going to be a brief seminar on Stephen Karpman's Drama Triangle and how you can increase your awareness of the ways in which you're creating the drama in your relationships and how to deal with that in a more productive way. My name is Ryan, and I am a coach and a doctoral student in leadership and coaching. And I'm really pleased you've joined me, so thank you. I'd like for you to take a moment and just identify for yourself what you would like out of this time. You may want to improve your relationship with your boss or your direct reports, your partner, your kids, or any of those things. So now that you've got that in your mind, I want you to sit up, come to the edge of your seat, lean in, and listen and engage. Have something handy that you can write with, or be comfortable talking out loud, because there will be moments over the course of the workshop where I ask you to pause the video and take a minute or two to write down some of your own thoughts. So, how do you relate to this list of grievances that I'm about to share with you? How often do you feel sorry for yourself? You feel hopeless that you can change things, resentful of the life you have or of other people, blaming others or blaming yourself. How often do you dump your bad mood on others or act superior to keep other people on the defensive? Perhaps you're always rushing to the rescue, but not really taking care of yourself. How often do you think, if only I had more blank, more time, more energy, more money, more sex appeal, a better job? How often do you have the same fights with your partner over and over again? Or the same dynamics at work where these conflicts recur and never resolve? Perhaps you find yourself always needing to save everyone around you. Or maybe you feel the opposite way, that you have no control over your life or over your situation. Perhaps you feel that you're the only grown-up in the room sometimes. Or you notice that you or the people around you are constantly blaming or nagging or whining. So if any of these things are true for you, and trust me, they are true for me sometimes, we are in the drama triangle. So the drama triangle is a model developed by Stephen Karpman, who was a student of Eric Berne, who was the founder of transactional analysis, which is a field of psychology. And Stephen Karpman identified the drama triangle by looking at the plots of movies, TV shows, and classic plays, and then seeing how many of those plots played out in his intimate relationships and the relationships he had with others and observed in others. That this is kind of a ubiquitous pattern in life that he identified and named. So he named 3 different roles in the drama triangle, 3 points. The first is the victim, down at the bottom, in the inferior position. The second is the persecutor, who occupies one of the top points of the triangle. And the third is the rescuer. And I'm going to describe these 3 roles in greater depth, and I want you to, again, look at yourself, look at your life, look at your own relationships, and see how you relate to these. So the victim abdicates responsibility. There's something that they're not taking responsibility for. Things are always happening to me. We feel sorry for ourselves. We feel helpless and hopeless in our lives. We deny we have any responsibility or power to change what's going on. We don't have control. Whenever we're playing the victim, we're doing less than our 50%. Often victims feel very sensitive and they require kid-glove treatment. They want to be treated like they're weak or fragile. And they act less smart and capable than they actually are. They feel overwhelmed by their vulnerability, and they're looking for someone to rescue them, save them, or take care of them. The second role we're going to talk about is the persecutor. So the persecutor puts responsibilities on others. This is your fault. They like to blame They like to justify. They love to criticize and find fault in other people. The trouble is that underneath, they are feeling inadequate. They actually think there's something wrong with them that they're covering for. Persecutors can be controlling and rigid, and their criticism can be destructive and negative. So you notice here this dynamic between the persecutor and the victim. That the persecutor kind of needs a victim to be superior over, someone to blame, someone whose fault it is. Contrast that with the rescuer. Now, the rescuer sounds positive, right? But there's a dark side to the rescuer as well. So the rescuer takes responsibility for things that are not theirs. A rescuer often offers a short-term repair to a victim's problems. They have a surface motive to solve the problem, but a hidden motive to keep the situation going so they continue to have relevance and value. Often a rescuer can occur like a martyr, right? After all I've done for you. Or, oh no, it's okay, I don't need anything. Rescuers will often guilt trip someone. You owe me for what I've done for you. And do-gooders without boundaries. They're harried and tired. We agree to things we don't actually want to do. And we don't own our own vulnerability. When we're rescuing other people, we see them as vulnerable, but we're not really seeing what's in it for us. We often offer help that's unasked for. We're all in the drama triangle almost all the time. I'll give some personal examples. My wife hates it when I forget things. And I just think, oh, there's nothing I just didn't remember. It's not my fault. I just couldn't remember it. So I'm playing the victim. She's playing the persecutor. Sometimes when I'm with my daughter, she's 2 years old. She's all these wants and needs. And I just think, oh my God, if only you could just take care of yourself sometimes. Obviously she can't. I know that. But there's a part of me that wants to blame her for her existence, for her needs. I'm playing the persecutor in moments like that. There are these dogs next door, and they're right outside my window. They bark, bark, bark. And when I'm recording videos or when I'm on calls, they are often distracting. And I just think, if only I could strangle those dogs, those freaking dogs, right? I'm persecuting them, and I'm also the victim to those dogs. These are just some examples from my own life. I'd love for you now to pause the video, and I'm going to prompt you with a couple questions. What about this is striking you? What are you relating to here? How are you relating to it? So go a little deeper. And then what are the implications of some of these ideas in your life if you were to become more aware of them in the moment? So pause the video, set a timer for 2 or 3 minutes, and write or talk out loud about what you're learning. All right, welcome back. So you can see these dynamics everywhere. We're often playing the victim to someone's rescuer, rescuing a victim. We're often persecuting someone and they're playing the victim, or we're being persecuted by a persecutor and we're the victim. And so you can see how we kind of need one another for this, and that this is a dynamic that occurs between and with the participation of both people involved. Sometimes we can even play the game all alone with ourselves. Oh, if only I had done that one thing. Yeah, you're such a loser, right? The impact of this is profound. It's a seductive, high-energy blame game that provides some temporary excitement and adrenaline, and we get addicted to it. So we get addicted to this feeling of drama. It defeats our critical thinking because it's ultimately rooted in some kind of fixed or limited perspective. Generates apathy, guilt, cynicism, and isolation. It distorts our perception. It's difficult to see the good intentions of others when we're stuck in a blame game with them. And it's very difficult for us to see the truth of what's actually going on because, again, we have this fixed perspective about the situation. It's very destructive to our relationships. It sucks the energy out of us, right? We get that adrenaline high, but then we crash afterwards. And nothing ever changes when we're in the drama triangle. It reinforces our limiting beliefs And the more we go down those pathways, the stronger those mental pathways become, the stronger those relationship dynamics become. Now, we do this for a reason. And part of what is so compelling about the drama triangle is that we have these deeper needs that we're trying to meet through this activity. Unfortunately, the drama just never gets it done. We are always left unsatisfied. And so what we're going to do now is start to orient toward some of the deeper needs that we have that are going unmet as we engage in drama. What I want you to do is simply close your eyes and listen to the set of phrases that I'm going to say. And I want you to listen not only to the words, but to how you feel about them. To be safe, to be secure, to be cared for, to be affirmed for my existence, to touch and to be touched, to love and to be loved, to have an identity, to express myself, to be excellent, to be competent, to belong, to connect, to have an influence, to be heard and seen and known. To belong to something bigger than myself. To know my purpose. To fulfill my potential. To do the thing I was put here on earth to do. Go and open your eyes. And I want you to just take 30 seconds and write down a couple of the phrases that really resonated with you. As you were listening to them, as you were feeling what was happening in your body as I said those words. I just want you to write 2 or 3 of those down that really struck you. So these are the deeper needs that we are trying to get met when we engage in the drama triangle. And the cool thing is there's another way. And, you know, I talked earlier about how each of the roles in the drama triangle is a misplaced responsibility. As the victim, I'm saying that not my responsibility. As the rescuer, as the persecutor, I'm saying this is your fault, not my fault, your fault. And then as the rescuer, I'm saying, oh no, I'll take that responsibility even though it's not mine. So the game here is to take responsibility. It's the only way out. Being the primary cause for something. That I am the one who gets to choose how to pursue what I want. 2 anecdotes, 2 people that really represented this beautifully in their lives. One was Viktor Frankl, who was an existentialist philosopher and wrote a book called Man's Search for Meaning out of his experiences as a Jew in a concentration camp during World War II. And the conclusion that he came to in surviving that environment that he was in was that I can't control what happens to me, but I can choose how I respond to it. So a lot of the time, these drama dynamics will seem like we're kind of pulled into them. We get hooked into them because they need someone else. It takes 2 to tango. But realizing that we have the freedom to choose can help us remove ourselves from the drama. Another person who I think really exemplifies this responsibility taking was a man named William Deming, who was the founder of quality control, and he helped Japan rebuild manufacturing after World War II. And he came into companies, and what he found was that if there was a mistake, an error in the organization, that if employees blamed someone or something else, if they felt ashamed, if they justified why things had to have happened that way, there was a 94% chance that it would happen again. And that when people shifted to taking responsibility for changing things, systems worked better. And Japan became an international leader in manufacturing quality by the 1960s. So you can see how transformative taking responsibility and creating a culture of responsibility can be. So there are two rules here that I think are really important that help us to take responsibility and help us hold one another responsible. The first is that nobody gets more than 50% of the blame. We all belong to systems. And whenever we have a relationship with someone, whatever's happening in the relationship is 50% what's going on with you and 50% what's going on with me. And so I have to take my 50% of the responsibility for what's happening in the relationship, and you have to take your 50% of the responsibility. So, rule number one, nobody gets more than 50% of the blame. Number two, everyone's 100% responsible for their own satisfaction. I'm responsible for getting satisfied. So if there's something I'm not satisfied about, I'm responsible for fighting for it. And the more I make you responsible for my satisfaction, the more I'm giving up my power, my agency, and my right to choose what's important to me. So, easier said than done, but well worth the practice. And here are the benefits of doing this, right? So we become more productive and motivated. We get more done because we're not stuck in these cyclical dynamics with people. And we're motivated because things are changing. It's activating to go for something and to get what I want. We have more time and energy. Again, we're not wasting it, flushing it down the drain in this drama triangle. We become more creative because we're entering into a growth mindset. We're saying, there's something here that I need to take responsibility for that I haven't been taking responsibility for. And that puts me into a frame of mind where I'm open to new possibility, and it's energizing to do that. We end up more satisfied and fulfilled. The more we're actually going for the deeper need that's underneath the drama, the more opportunities we have to get that need met. And so we have deeper, more full relationships. We have stronger relationships. We're better at dealing with stress and challenge because we have more resources and we have better relationships and we're more creative. And we're better able to support ourselves and others as well because we're increasingly well-resourced and because we're really in dialogue with others in an authentic way, we're more able to help people get their needs met and improve the functioning of the systems we belong to. So I want you to pause the video here, and I just want you to take, again, 2 or 3 minutes and write or talk to yourself about what's striking you about all of this. What about it is striking you? And then what are the implications for you in your life? So pause the video, and I'll see you in a couple minutes. All right, welcome back. So we're rounding out the end of the presentation. I've got a 4-step guide for breaking out of the drama triangle and then an assignment. So the 4 steps. 1, notice the drama, clock the drama. Notice it in your own thinking, notice it in meetings, notice it in other people, notice it in the stories you consume, notice in the TV you watch or the books you read. Step 2, take responsibility, right? Remember our rules. Nobody gets more than 50% of the blame. We've all contributed to the situation occurring, and everyone's 100% responsible for their own satisfaction. So assign responsibility where it truly belongs, and take yours and own it. 3, identify the yearnings and the feelings. There are going to be deeper needs that you need to get met. And the more you are aware of and in touch with those things, the more effective you'll be at getting them done. And step 4, express and engage with the truth. Tell the truth. Say what's going on. Name it in your relationships with others. And that's going to take you 90% of the way to a creative solution to whatever the problem is. So now, I said I was going to give you an assignment. I really want you to take some time here at the end and identify for yourself, what are the most dramatic relationships I have? And how can I leverage this new awareness that I have in order to improve those relationships? What's my vision for those relationships? So I want you to take 5 minutes after the video's over and spend some time with yourself critically thinking about where you're in the drama triangle and what you want to do now that you have this awareness. Thank you for being with me, and I hope I see you later.